This missing history really needs to be unearthed and explored and dissected.
Elder Reg Crowshoes told me the story about his dad who traveled with him to China decades ago. And his dad sang a Chinese song, but he sang it in his own language, but he knew the song, he knew the melody. Crowshoe Sr. must have lived or worked with people of Chinese background because he knew this song and he knew it well enough to sing it in China, and people recognized what he was singing. Obviously there were interactions, but interactions that we know very little about. When I heard the story, that's when I started to think about this project. That's part of how it started. As Canadians, we carry so many invisible stories that shape who we are. I'm hoping people become more aware about the missing history.
So any chance I get to delve into the background of the Chinese and the Aboriginals, it's an opportunity to educate those outside of those two cultures and enlighten them even further.
I want to thank everyone for coming out today to witness the launch of the research project, Aboriginals and Chinese, Then and Now.
My long-term goal would be to develop an online repository, like a virtual museum for research and so on.
Coming together, being united by the transformative power of music and arts, breathing the same air as our neighbors. The antidote is community.
Art transcends cultures in that it conveys ideas and it conveys stories. Part of that is that sharing of art between the two cultures that brings out the best in both.
Being in the facility like the National Music Center and being here on Canada Day where there's families and so on, I think we were able to reach out to people of all different ages and backgrounds. So that was a real bonus for us.
Our struggle is almost parallel to them. Settlers, when they settled in Canada here, they did make use of the Aboriginals and also the Chinese. So we do feel a common bond with each other because of that.
There's many parallels in the struggles between the Chinese and the Aboriginals. You talk about the head tax, and then you talk about the Aboriginal residential schools. So they're facing many of the same issues that we face as Aboriginal people, and so I have empathy for the Chinese community and the subjugation that they were put through as well as us. The CP Rail is what connected, or so-called connected, Canada from coast to coast. And in doing so, you're using the Chinese labor to build a railroad across Indian land. And you're going to have that coming together of these two cultures in that setting as it crosses Canada.
When my grandfather came, the Aboriginal people actually helped him survive. At that time, he came as a young child, and the only people who basically helped him when he was sick was the Aboriginal people, because at that time no white doctor would touch him. So again, it was his own survival, and many of the Chinese who were here was based on the Aboriginal people and their help.
You live here first. Yes, because you might run away.
Mark Elder.
It took a long time before we came up with this idea of let's work together. I feel really grateful that after the event that there were so many people saying that, gee, it's great what you guys are doing. It's been a long time. It should have been done a long time ago.
I hope we all keep building a better country going forward for the next 150 years. Thank you so much. Take care. All the best.
I know as part of the Chinese community, I would do my best to see if we can't get us working together more. And not just the Aboriginals, but all ethnic, all communities.